Hi, I'm Pete Clark from the Autism Infocast. Today we're diving into a topic that's getting more and more important. We're talking about adjusting to an autism diagnosis. This means figuring out what comes next after you or your child have just been told you're on the autism spectrum. It's such a vital topic because getting that news is a huge moment, and it can bring up a whole mix of big feelings and lots of practical questions too. Have you ever spent ages trying to put together a really complicated jigsaw puzzle only to realise you were looking at the picture on the box upside down? That's often exactly what receiving an autism diagnosis feels like. It's a moment of sudden crystal clear understanding. So as we go through this video, I'm going to talk a little bit about how to process those big emotions, where to find information you can actually trust, and some practical ways to help make daily life a little bit easier. So let's start talking about how you might be feeling right now. There's absolutely no right or wrong way to feel after a diagnosis. For lots of people, the biggest feeling is simply relief. It's a huge sense that a whole lifetime of feeling different or watching your child have a hard time finally makes sense. But it's also completely normal if you feel a little bit confused about what it all means for the future. You might even feel a bit sad or worried. There's a story about an autism advocate named Emily. When she got her diagnosis, she burst into tears because she was so overwhelmed at finally getting an answer after all those years. Whatever you're feeling now, please know that it's perfectly normal. You've just been given a very significant piece of new information. It's so vital to be kind to yourself and allow the time you need to process it all. Don't rush it. Once those big initial emotions begin to settle down a bit, you might start to wonder what to do next. Taking some practical first steps can really help you feel more in control of the situation. It helps you build a strong, steady foundation for your journey ahead. The very first step is finding reliable information. Now, the internet is absolutely full of information about autism, but sadly, not all of it is true or helpful. It's so important to look for sources you can trust so you can avoid common myths and bad advice. In the UK, there are some wonderful charities and organisations that are a great place to start. For example, the National Autistic Society, or NAS, is the largest autism charity in the country. They offer a huge amount of information, advice and training for autistic people and their families. You could also look up Autistica, which is the UK's leading national autism research charity. They share fantastic resources that help explain just how different autism can be from person to person. And of course, the NHS website is a great place for official guidance on diagnosis and support options. Don't forget about autisminfocenter.org, which contains free resources and videos, podcasts, everything's free. Connecting with the autistic community is one of the most powerful things you can do. If you're a parent, getting to know other families with autistic children is just as important. Finding people who actually live with autism every day can really help you feel less alone. Those support networks give you a safe space where people just get it. You can find these groups in a few different ways. Many charities run local support groups where you can meet other autistic people in person and share your stories. There are also lots of online communities and social media groups where you can ask questions and get advice from people who truly understand. One question that comes up a lot is, does the diagnosis change who you are? Well, the honest answer is no, not at all. The diagnosis itself doesn't change the person you or your child have always been. What's changed is that you now have a tool to help make sense of things that maybe didn't make sense before. This is really the start of a journey to discover more about yourself. This new understanding lets you explore what makes your autistic profile or your child's profile completely unique. That means looking closely at the things you're great at, as well as the things you find hard. So people sometimes ask if being autistic means a person will have superpowers. Well, we should always avoid silly stereotypes, but actually it's very true that autistic people often do have some remarkable strengths. For example, these strengths can lead to amazing attention to detail. Autistic people often have the ability to focus deeply on subjects they find interesting, which makes them absolute experts in those areas. Other common strengths are things like logical thinking and being great at spotting patterns. Many autistic people also care deeply about honesty and being direct. So while we celebrate those strengths, we can also start to better understand the challenges too. Challenges might be things like sensory processing, which just means how the brain handles things that we see, hear, smell, touch. Challenges can show up in communication or in something called executive functioning. That's just a simple way of describing the brain's management system. It's the part of the brain that helps us plan our day and stay organised and get things done. So when you know where the challenges are, you can start looking for practical ways to help. A formal diagnosis is often the key that unlocks the right kind of support. Now is the perfect time to think about what adjustments might be useful in different parts of your life. So at home, you might want to try creating a safe space. This is just a quiet, calming area where you or your child can go to relax when things feel a bit too loud or overwhelming. You might try also using things like weighted blankets or fidget toys to help soothe the senses. Using visual timetables or picture schedules can be a great way to make the day feel more predictable and a bit less scary. When it comes to education, a diagnosis for a child can lead to much better support at school. This might be done through something called an EHCP, that's an Education, Health and Care Plan. If you're an adult going to university or college, a diagnosis lets you access their disability support services so you get the help you need to do your best. And in the workplace, it's really important to know that in the UK, autism is actually recognised as a disability under the Equality Act 2010. This means you have a legal right to ask your employer for what's called reasonable adjustments. These are just small changes to your job or your workplace that remove the barriers you face, helping you do your work more comfortably. So adjusting to an autism diagnosis is a journey. It's definitely not a race. You'll have good days, you'll have days that are a little bit more challenging, but the absolute most important thing to remember is to be patient and to be kind to yourself along the way. A diagnosis isn't a negative label. For many people, finding out that they're autistic is the most positive thing that could ever have happened to them. Your diagnosis isn't a life sentence, and it certainly isn't a disaster. It's a wonderful tool for understanding who you are. It's a clear path to finding the right support and a brilliant opportunity to build a life that feels authentic, comfortable, and truly happy. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe now on YouTube and follow Autism Info Centre on social media, or visit autisminfocentre.org for free autism news, articles, books, videos, podcasts, resources and courses. See you in the next video.